Tuesday afternoon after taking a power hit. Here in Midlothian, we're back. This will be our last live stream as there's still some very intense rain out there, but the threat for damaging thunderstorms regarding the high winds, regarding hail, that is beginning to shift farther eastward from the metropolitan area. So we've got Richmond right there in the middle of the screen, and we'll zoom in a little bit to get your bearings. So there's I-64 coming from right to left through the city and then heading up toward Charlottesville and Midlothian in Route 60 there, and of course 95 heading south along the James. So what we're looking at here, remember the colors show you the light to heavy with these intense purple shades suggesting really where we've had the hail. Most of that now is shifting farther eastward from even Henrico County. So Charles City County, New King County over these next 15 to 30 minutes has the biggest risk of genuine damaging storms. Let's zoom back out a little bit. So you could see that all of it kind of coming together there east to Hopewell. So there's New King County, there's Charles City County, and the James River down there. So there's still a fair bit of rain to be found for at least another 20 minutes or so, some fairly heavy rain. But that's going to begin to back off as we get closer to the 5 o'clock hour, again, for the immediate metro Richmond area. With that said, there's actually a flood advisory that's been issued by our colleagues at the Weather Service office down in Wakefield, and that's for most of central Chesterfield County toward Midlothian, heading down to Skin Quarter, heading down toward, let's say, Moseley, and then extending back across South Richmond and toward Varina. Those are the areas in this location here that have had the most rain, most intense rain. So some very small scale flooding already taking shape in that part of the metro area. Areas northward from Richmond have not had it nearly as bad. There's certainly been some rain, but it's really Chesterfield County and then eastern Henrico, Varina, and extending farther eastward toward Charles City and New King counties that have had the worst of it this afternoon. But again, over these next 20 or 30 minutes, things are going to begin to tone down. There will still be rain, but the threat for any kind of damage will be coming to a close. And a couple of questions: has there been any tornado warnings? No, there've not been any tornado warnings. Everything we've been able to see thus far has just been straight line winds. Now, having said the straight line winds, there have been some very intense ones. We'll go to the in-storm winds here. And this is a little bit messy, we'll freely admit. But one of the things we want to point your attention to here, these brighter lime green shades are areas that are going toward the radar within the storm. So basically looking at the winds inside of the storm. Over toward the right, these are areas that are away from the radar. And the radar is actually down here toward Wakefield. So as we zoom in, one of the things I want to point out as we watch this thing loop, go back half an hour, watch these brighter greens kind of race across Chester. In fact, let's just stop the thing and take a look at what we've got here and go back in time to right around 4 o'clock, right? You can see that bright shading there right in Midlothian. And then going forward to about, 4:15, you could see kind of back and forth as they do in the old football telestrating. Watch this area, very bright green here. That's a 50 and 60 mile an hour wind gust that's going right into South Richmond and down toward Bellwood, then ultimately shifting eastward into Varina and beginning to edge off over this last half hour. So this is the signature we look at when we're looking at very high winds. Not necessarily a rotating storm, but this is where we've seen some of the higher winds this afternoon. We moved this back forward, playing it, and you see it all kind of coming together. So that's the thing you really draw your attention to. There's a lot going on here to be sure, but where you see these brighter lime greens and almost blues showing up, that's what's telling us where some of the highest winds are. And that is now, again, shifting eastward from immediate city of Richmond into eastern Henrico, Varina, heading out toward Elko, Bottoms Bridge, and ultimately into New Kent and into Charles City County. So as we zoom back out, you don't see a lot of that going on upstream where our weather is coming from. That's why we say with pretty good confidence as we go into the next 15, 20 minutes or so, certainly toward 5 o'clock, things are going to begin to quiet down regarding damaging kind of wind and weather. So there are still a couple of active warnings out there, and by warnings we mean severe thunderstorm warnings. So this is the one right now that is still out there for Charles City County, Hanover, Henrico, and King William County. but we say Hanover, Henrico, it's kind of barely. I mean, anywhere from Ashland and westward, this is not a thing at all. This is more right along the Chickahominy River than extending in the adjacent parts of New Kent and Charles City counties. That's the area that's most concerning here for the next 30, 45 minutes or so. So as we get past that time, things are going to begin to tone down. There are no active warnings farther upstream. And remember, severe thunderstorm warning, that's very specific. It has nothing to do with lightning. It means you got damaging winds or hail. And we've had numerous reports of hail today, including here in the backyard in Midlothian. More pea-sized hail here, but several reports here in western Chesterfield County of hail actually covering the ground a fair bit earlier on this afternoon before melting, and some very, very good shots of it as well. Pulling back out a little bit, these are the areas that are under the severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock, so that's basically all the metro area. But I would imagine the next 35, 45 minutes to an hour, metropolitan Richmond will be cleared from the severe thunderstorm watch. Conditions will no longer be favorable for any more damaging weather. It will probably continue for the northern neck, the lower peninsula, middle peninsula as well, until this entire complex of showers and thunderstorms does move farther to the east. So for Richmond, as we look the next few hours, we still have the rainfall to deal with, but by 5:30, 6, the brighter yellows there out toward Tappahannock, Middle Peninsula, have shifted eastward from Richmond, and that's where the heavy weather is, right? So that heads out to the Chesapeake Bay. We have a few nuisance showers, 6, 7 o'clock, and a lot of lingering clouds, but everything really does tone down pretty quickly after dinner time. And the sky actually begins to clear out later on into the night. So the next few hours, the showers and gusties, thunderstorms going on till about 5, and then the sky does clear out later on this evening. One more look at the high-res radar. We've put the lightning strikes back on there. They're a little bit gaudy, if you will. But zooming back in, you can begin to see that a lot of the more active weather, if you will, the high incidence of thunder and lightning have shifted eastward toward Richmond. We'll be getting out of Hanover and Henrico counties entirely within the next 15 or 20 minutes, but it is still going to be rough going for a stretch in both Charles City and New Kent counties till about 5:30, where there will probably be a little bit more hail and the potential for some damaging winds. So lots of hail out there, not a surprise. And it was actually 2 different cells in Chesterfield County here toward Brandonville. We had the first one putting down the hail without any wind. That's more classical supercell thunderstorm kind of thing, where you get the hail without the wind. That first cell went out to the east, and there was a break, and then we had the heavier ones actually putting the wind damage here in western Chesterfield County over the last, let's call it 15, 20 minutes or so. Taking off the lightning strikes. Again, do look for the rain to continue. And there's still going to be some heavier rain down here toward Dinwiddie County, probably heading out toward Montauk and Petersburg. But in terms of the damaging weather for the immediate Richmond metropolitan area, that looks like it's just about done. Let's turn the lightning back on real quick. You can see there's still a fair bit of lightning down here in Dinwiddie County. And that's so Petersburg certainly is going to be getting Prince George County also going to be getting some more thunderstorms here in the next, call it 15, 25 minutes or so. No warnings there. We don't think damage, but it's not quite over south of Petersburg, probably for another 15, 20 minutes or so. But after that, in immediate metro Richmond, things will begin to quiet down. But no reports of tornadoes. There are no tornado warnings out there today. Everything has largely just been straight line winds and hail. So that'll wrap it up for the live stream for this afternoon. We appreciate you following along with us, supporting the Richmond Times-Dispatch. We'll have another weather minute for you a little later on this evening. Stay safe, everyone. And remember, if you are heading out, there's going to be some areas where water covers the road in parts of South Richmond and Chesterfield County. Please do not drive into those areas where water covers the road. That water ought to recede in another hour or 2. Again, thanks for joining us, everyone. We appreciate it. Take care.